Just checking.
Hello. I don't know. I'm embarrassed.
So what's your story about?
Oh, it's about Robert Bendelli, the Kansas City butcher.
Okay,
He was a serial killer.
it's pretty
I
cool.
heard you have a personal connection to this killer.
Okay, wait, let me start the whole thing. It's like a whole thing. Okay.
Okay.
Kansas City is a place known for jazz, barbecue, and football. Right here in the heart of the city where you... Let me start over. I don't know, I shouldn't read. Someone else go first. I'm bad at this.
I mean, you can read. It's fine. It's mostly audio, so
Okay, yeah, I was like, it's radio, so
yeah.
you can have scripts.
Oh shit, here we go.
Hey,
Hey, what's up?
What's up?
You guys recording?
Yeah. If you want to grab a chair from the hallway, you could scoot it up right there.
Oh, okay. Cool.
I think that was good though.
Mm-hmm.
I like the story you got going.
okay, yeah, I
Just
know
roll
it
with
sounds
it.
so much better when it's all written out.
What are you guys doing the podcast about? The recording thing now.
Variety. Whatever you got.
Oh, okay.
It's
Thank you,
supposed
sir.
to be like conversational.
Yeah. I don't really know
Oh.
much about the topic. I've never heard of him before, but I could try to ask questions.
No, it's okay. No, it's okay. Okay.
Okay. Are you guys recording this right on the thing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hang on. Let me sit down. Oh, well. Okay. Sick. What's your name, by the way?
I'm Morgan, as well as you can call me Mo, Casey Mo.
He's Morgan?
He's Morgan, and I'm Mo.
And you're Mo.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cool. I'm John.
Hey, John. You can call me Momo, Momo.
What's your show about?
Where my weight is at,
My
though.
show?
Yeah, or if you have one.
Beautiful things that I think are beautiful. And because everything's gross now, I
I
think.
like that.
Architecturally.
Architecturally, aesthetically, like, I'm just like, dude, everything looks like shit. It looks so bad.
Like a factory.
Yeah, everything looks like the Soviet Union, and it makes me depressed, and I want... What the heck? Oh. I see.
Yeah, the mic should be good. You can take the headphones off if you want. They're not really doing
Not
anything.
being used.
No.
Okay.
Anyways, what is your podcast about?
I'm gonna do a true crime podcast where I dive into a new story every week.
My idea was to draw some parallels between the Wizard of Oz and Donnie Darko. That's my
Ooh.
sort of film review that
Oh,
I'm doing.
nice. Yeah, I like Donnie Darko. It's a good movie.
I've never seen it.
You should watch it.
It was pretty cool.
I'm here to talk about getting proposed into a green card marriage.
Hey, whoa, that's pretty cool. We're really distorted. Hey, what's the mic level? Is that you guys have it like jammed all the way?
I think it's just with your mic.
Distortion.
Let me go back here. I checked to see that they were all running, but I didn't check that one's clarity.
What cars are you reviewing?
Robert Bendelli today. He's the Kansas City butcher. He killed mostly men. He
Ooh.
was gay and he like
Interesting.
young men.
John, can you try talking into that mic a little more?
Hello? Hello? Sounds like the beginning of... Oh, there we go. That's better.
Yeah, it's way better.
Anyways, your mom knew him?
Well, he would sell stuff at the Westport Flea Market and like jewelry and stuff. And she was like walking by him and bought a pair of earrings, and then when she walked away, she was like 9, and she said to her mom, "Oh, he smiles too much, or he smiles weird, or something." And then like years later, he got caught.
Whoa. Don't smile weird.
That's what I said. I was like, I'm smiling way too much for Kimberly.
Don't smile
That's all.
weird. It's bad.
His was, so you gotta trust a woman's intuition. She's like, that's a bad smile.
That's a bad smile.
Mhm.
Especially if he's
Bro.
standing around a vehicle, like he's
Bro.
standing outside a van or something.
If he
keep
tries to
walking.
get you to help him with his school books,
Or find his puppy or
find
something.
his puppy. Damn. I think that would work on me though.
Same.
Unfortunately, I think if someone was like, "Help me find my puppy," because I'd be like, "Ah, I like puppies.
Or like
Yeah.
Ted Bundy, known for being attractive and luring females just by being
Do you guys
potentially
think Ted Bundy was
available.
hot? I looked at Ted. I was like, dude, Ted Bundy's not that hot. Like,
He's average.
I think
As-
way
he's like
available
Jerry
than Ted
Seinfeld,
Bundy.
right? But oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay. There's ugly dudes to Ted Bundy, but
But it's about charm. It's about
I've heard that, but
smoothness,
I've also
smile,
heard he tricked
smize.
people.
he was a trickster.
Like he would like pretend to be hurt or something or lost,
Mm.
or like his car broke down.
I guess as far as serial killers go, he was pretty good looking. You look at Ed Kemper, and you're like, I don't want him touching my dead corpse.
Yeah, not fuckable.
Not
Yeah.
fuckable. Not at all. But Ted Bundy, if he was to have sex with my dead corpse,
Yeah.
if I had to die, and I had to be
On the spectrum of serial killers.
on the spectrum, if I had to be touched as a dead corpse, I'd probably go for Ted Bundy or Jeffrey Dahmer. He was kind of.
I liked Evan Peters as Dahmer.
Ooh, he was an
Wait,
actor.
did he
He's
do?
an
Was he the Dahmer? think he
I'm not
was.
up to date on my serial killer movies. I've been really busy with my green card marriage proposal.
What's a green? Okay, can you tell me
Yeah,
about
I'm
that?
not
What's
sure
the green card?
about that. Like, what is that?
Are you marrying? Is that marrying someone and then they get citizenship, right?
Yes, I'm not moving forward with it.
Oh, you're not doing it.
But it is still on the table.
Oh, so what's the story behind this? What's going on here?
Hopefully I don't end up killed for this one.
No. Whoa, shit, dude. Yeah, let's talk about this.
I mean, unless it puts you at risk or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
to be
well-
honest, it would probably put this individual at risk more than I.
Okay.
So, I actually have other topics to talk about. I just wanted to throw this on the table and see if it got any traction. Thank you for the movement.
Yeah.
100%.
We'll circle back. If it plugs in anywhere, I'll give more details.
Oh, so you don't want to talk about the green card marriage?
I do and I don't, but I'd rather hear about the Kansas City Butcher.
Okay, let's go with the
Okay.
Kansas City Butcher.
Kansas City is a place known for jazz, barbecue, and football. But right here in the heart of the city where UMKC sits at the center, there's another story to tell. Beneath the surface, Kansas City holds secrets. We have unsolved mysteries, chilling crimes, and cases that still haunt this very place our campus sits on. Welcome to Kansas City Cold Cases, which is a name I'm still working on. I don't know what I'm gonna do. It'll be a bi-weekly true crime show where we dig into stories hidden in plain sight. Cases from Kansas City and across Missouri as a whole. Some are disturbing, some are infamous, and some you may have never heard before, but each one belongs to this place we call home.
Can
My
you
name
turn
is
your mic like
yeah.
a little more upwards, like this way?
Oh, it's
Yeah, like
Like this.
more. Yep.
My name is Emma Tice. I'm a junior at UMKC, and every other week on Mondays, we will step into the shadows of Kansas City history. From disappearances that left families searching for decades, to the darker corners of Kansas City's mob past. This show is where we revisit the crimes that shaped our city. So I'm not going to dive into it all today, but next week on Kansas City Cold Cases, we'll open the file on one of Kansas City's darkest chapters, which is Robert Bendelli. So my mom would tell me this story growing up. I already did it, but her and her mom would shop at Westport Flea Market. It was in the 80s. I think she was 9 years old. One day, she bought a pair of earrings from a guy running a stall at the market called Bob's Bazaar Bazaar. It was a small shop where he sold jewelry, trinkets, and collectibles. People knew his face and people knew his smile. My mom even remembers the day she bought those earrings from him. As she was walking away, she told her own mom, "He smiles too much," which at the time was like an offhanded comment, but years later, that kind of hits different because like I always remembered that. Because in 1988, Kansas City would learn who Robert Berdella really was. So for 4 years, through the mid-1980s, men in our city disappeared. Many were young, vulnerable, and their names were rarely in the news. Robert Berdella targeted them quietly, and for a long time, no one connected the dots. His public face was pretty ordinary. He was kind of eccentric and like had long hair, but he was like harmless enough to buy jewelry from. Everybody knew him. But it wasn't until April of 1988 when one man managed to escape Berdella's home in Westport and flag down the police that the truth started to spill. Officers entered the house and found evidence that shocked not just the city but the entire country. The details about what happened inside those walls are very disturbing, and next week we'll talk carefully about what investigators uncovered and how it revealed years of violence that Westport never saw coming. Next week, we will walk through the timeline, the victims, the investigation that finally broke the case, and the legacy that still lingers in Kansas City from Robert. And I'll share more about my mom's memory about him. So this is the kind of story we'll cover here on Kansas City Cold Cases, stories that feel close to home because they are. I'm Emma, a journalism student here at UMKC. Join me next week when we dive into this case. I like wrote down a whole script, but I don't know, because I didn't know that I was gonna be like this.
Yeah.
So
Well,
sorry.
We're like editing it afterwards, right? So like this will be like, you like cut it up and that will be like your thing that we'll post and then.
Yeah, I don't know.
Is that what we're
Is
doing?
that how it works?
Okay.
For now, that's how it'll work.
Well, damn,
Beautiful, Emma.
Yeah, I don't know.
Really
I'm
good,
sorry.
that was good.
Can't wait for next week.
Yeah.
I know. I'm excited. I'm gonna do like a whole thing
Okay.
with that.
Do you know about this? I think I was telling you about the Springfield 3.
I think you were. I don't know about it, but I love true crime. Like, I love
I'll
listening
send
to
you that
podcasts.
article. That's a fascinating case.
How long ago was this guy active? Like, when did this happen?
He was arrested in 1988,
Okay.
so it was like the 90s,
Dude, such the 80s. What was what?
or I mean the 80s, not 90s.
Well, the 70s and 80s and 90s with serial killers.
I
They
know.
were everywhere.
It's a really good year for true crime.
It's a
Or,
good year for
decade.
Yeah, why were they going crazy like that?
And the
What do we-
glasses.
Like, was it their parents? Was
Was
something
it-
cultural going on?
Was it the
The
glasses?
food, the fluoride in the water? Like, what was creating?
Do you guys think like?
There's
Do we
so
have that
many
many
factors.
killers still?
Well, yeah.
I
School
think so.
shooters are like the new serial killers.
Whoa. I guess they are creating violence on a bigger scale. Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes I'll go down the rabbit hole of true crime and it will get me in such, I have to be careful with it. Like I can do it like once a month, but it'll put me in like a really dark mood
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true.
and I'll try and walk my dog at night and it'll creep me. There's also this old man who rides around my neighborhood on a bike at night, all alone, and he whistles. And it's really creepy.
I had a guy who walked down my street with a cup in his hand every night at about like 1 a.m. Guess everyone goes for a night walk. But in regards to serial killers nowadays, I've seen some videos of like these ice cream trucks that'll go through places at like 2 a.m. And this was in a place in Missouri. I forget where it was. It wasn't Kansas City, but it was somewhere in Missouri. And there was an ice cream truck playing its music, and it was time stamped at like in the middle of the night. And I've seen a few videos on TikTok of that.
And it's real.
I'm pretty sure like there's AI generated stuff, but then whenever you have people like filming out their window, seeing a truck go by, and then showing their expression and explaining it, I don't know, it just seems less likely that they would generate all that.
Have any of you guys had like a close encounter with like something like that where you're like, oh, like I might have been like fucking like murdered or something, like, or just like creepy shit happening to you where you're like near misses, like the thing that you're talking about with your mom where like she walked past that serial killer.
Like, how
Like-
did she know that,
Yeah,
that something was
yeah.
off about him?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know if I've ever met anyone yet.
I think there's statistics that like we all have walked past.
A serial killer.
I mean, at
There
least a
could be one in
murderer.
the room right
I
now.
mean, yeah, oh,
Let's draw straws or guess who we think it is. I was gonna say, I don't know, with my dating history, I feel like I've probably dated someone who's done something crazier than I'd expect from them.
Wow.
Yeah, and I actually do hope to dive into some of that over time and speculate on other people's dating lives.
Okay.
That's good.
For example, I need to remain anonymous in this exact moment because I'm taking a class that has 2 teachers in it. That I'm pretty sure they are on the low together.
Yo.
And-
that's some drama.
The way the class goes each week, to me, pretty much is based off of what their current relationship status is. Whether they're like in sync or not. So I know how their last lay really went.
Whoa.
I also think my math teacher's cheating on his wife.
Wow.
Whoa.
Where are
Like
you
a
getting
student? I hear that happens a lot, more than we think.
Can't speculate.
Damn.
I see him on his phone. I'm like, he's calculating for X. I can tell. He's solving to figure out his financial issues and how to get out of this public marriage.
Whoa. Shit.
That's T.
Let's see.
T.
That is.
Wow.
UMKT.
UMKT.
That should be your name of your show.
So is your show a gossip show?
My little moments. I have lots of ideas. I learned in my geology class about how after basically how the Earth has gotten here after like 100 millions and millions and billions of years.
It's pretty crazy how that's happened.
The way they showed it to me, I was like, oh, the Earth is still evolving, and we may very much so still be a creature that we don't even know about yet. We're still in our fetus form. Like, this is an egg. So then we can really influence the future of, if we're still in gestation and we might be giving birth soon to a new form of humanity, a collaboration with nature, hopefully with AI and tech. But I think that we have a lot to say, just like a man's sperm and a mother's egg in pregnancy has a lot of determination over the human that's born. We may still have say over where this is going, but we're coming from off of a lot of momentum from the original explosion that created our little piece of rock that's still shooting off into space. That's lost some mass as it's shot through the atmosphere, and it's still evolving and shaping. And I actually just saw an article that in China they created the world's largest dam, and it's changed the axis of the planet and reduced the length of a day by milliseconds. Like, it's pretty much imperceptible to us, but China alone has impacted the length of the day just based on putting weight on one side of the planet. So actually our philosopher friend's coming in right now. We have something to say about this.
Hello.
What's up, Cam?
It's good. You got chairs.
I do. I think that mic is working too, so
Okay.
get that
Thank you.
turned around here.
One of my other running gigs that I want to do on this show is an open letter and then an actual letter writing campaign with Australian universities. I have some stuff I'd like to talk to them about.
Oh, okay. Wait, what's open letter? Open letter's like they send you a letter?
Yeah, I want to write them a letter. And
Oh, yeah.
I want them to write us back.
Just Australia. Why Australia?
Because we're the Roos.
Roos, right, yeah.
So I want to know if they think that that's appropriation. I want to know.
Oh.
There's gotta be another university in Australia that has a room.
Absolutely.
There has to be.
Why did we pick the room for our mascot?
Why did we pick the Roo?
I like it. I've seen it kangaroos on campus.
Because
What?
ROO stands with Mizzou.
Whoa.
That's what I think. That's what I assume.
You saw a real kangaroo?
A real.
There
was
kangaroo.
one, yeah.
Like, they were small. It wasn't like a huge one, but they were cute. It was like a pet.
I don't think I'm on, am I? No.
Oh.
You're not going over the speaker,
Wow.
but you'll be
It was
recorded
so
on
cute.
Oh, very good.
I never seen them.
I wonder
Because
if
they're
they
not
were,
from here.
yeah, I wonder if they were born here, if they were taken by plane. I think that's cute. The idea of a kangaroo on a plane.
Have you seen like the big ones though? They look like they can fight.
They can
Yeah.
fight.
Super like muscular.
They can.
Yeah.
Meow.
Can I
Yeah.
talk about
My
my
dating
show?
history. No, I'm just kidding.
My show? You guys want to hear about my show?
Yeah,
Of course.
I came
Like,
up
not
with it
beautiful.
like for three minutes. I came up with it in like 3 minutes. But it's something that bothers me a lot, deeply. And that's the lack of like things looking nice. Or like, I want to use like the Nelson Atkins Museum of Art as an example. Because I'll go there after class on Thursdays. Because I have like a lot of time in between classes. And I was standing inside the museum and I just felt so freaking good inside the museum because I was also coming off like a really, really stressful week where my car had basically broken down on the highway. And like, it was like it was really expensive. It like totally screwed up like my financial scene and like totally messed it up. I had to cancel a trip to New York where I was gonna go visit my sister in New York City. Just like fucking sucked. I was like, damn, dude. But like I was inside this museum and I was just surrounded. Everything in there is just like intentional and beautiful and it looks so good and it smells good and everything is designed for the human spirit. Like it's designed with the human spirit in mind. And everything about it, in like when I took an intro to the humanities class, we did like a short little stint on like architecture. And like when someone's designing architecture, they like think about the flow of the human through the space, and like that museum is so perfectly designed for like flow, like just the way you're able to walk through that museum and go into room to room to room, and everything is visually like just like perfect for the way you want it to look. Like when you walk out into the front of the museum and you're walking and you see the big long field and you get the view of like Kansas City from the top of the Nelson Atkins Museum, like everything about it is just like so intentional, like they cared. And then you go to like a fucking Target or a fucking Walmart or like some fucking store or whatever, and it just looks like nobody gives a shit. Like, and that's not to say that you can't have functional places, because you do, sometimes you just need it to work. But like, I just wish our culture would adopt more like appreciation for just like making something look good for the sake of making it look good. Like, even if it doesn't mean anything, like even if you're building like a McDonald's, like you could make the McDonald's look like beautiful and like look
I have
good.
some thoughts. You won't hear me on the speaker, but it's recording. You're talking about aesthetics, and you're talking about a curated space and how some spaces are curated and others aren't. And you're right that an architecture is always curating the space, and that what I'm hearing is that you're like, you hate the commercial curation, but that's not necessarily the functional one. That's just the one, they created it to make money off of you,
Right.
not to be the most functional. You know, it would be possible to create a functional, spiritually enlivening environment in order for you to do your buy bread.
Yeah.
It does exist. I mean, there's different theories on how we can do that, but I don't think that. I think that at least the one thing you mentioned is that it's intentionally not pretty, because it's intentionally supposed to be getting you in and out. You know.
Right. Yeah.
It's efficiency.
Well, yeah, and also I was thinking about like if you drive some of the neighborhoods around this area, like a lot of the suburban neighborhoods around this area, specifically around UMPC, like the homes, I guess prior to the big urban boom of like the 50s after World War II, the way you would sort of buy your house, I think the way it worked was you would buy your plot of land, which would be like, you know, a small plot like in a suburban area, and you would build your own house. So in these neighborhoods you have all these like small modest houses that are all like customized, like they all have their own like little personality, and it's very quaint, and the trees are very big, and there's like this like this combination of like nature and home and uniqueness to it. But then when you look at newer like housing developments, they're very functional, and every house looks the exact fucking same. Like there's no.
And it's cheaper to make it that way.
And it's cheaper to make it
And
that way.
what should we do about that?
Dude, I don't stop prioritizing profit over literally everything, ever, anytime, ever, because that's, you know, like everything is just built around this thing, which by the way is made up. Like, I don't know, like money's definitely important, but also like you're sacrificing this something that's actually real, you know, for like this thing that is just completely made up.
I wanted to pitch in a little bit here.
Yeah.
As you've been describing this, I think a lot of it relates to the laws concerning who can build what where, because I've seen more than one story of someone from the community who saw something broken down that's just been broken down for years, and they go in there and they can fix it for $300, but the city will just tear down their progress because it's literally not legal to do that. It's not legal to fix a problem that everyone's dealing with, but it's so they have to go through the process of paying some company $10,000 to have their workers stand out there for the most part.
And part
for a
of the
few days.
reason for that is regulation and insurance, that the person who's filling that pothole or doing whatever that beautification is qualified and not actually doing a disservice to the people, or gonna get hit and then sue the city, you know.
Yeah,
It's
and
complicated.
there are good examples of that where fixing it up would be a safety issue, but I feel like there's an overwhelming amount of time where it would not possibly be a safety issue.
Yeah, and dumbing down the design over time will strip away culture, like not prioritizing beauty, create spaces that people don't really want or eventually feel like they need to be in, or if they have to be in them, they only need to be in them. It's not fun sitting in a cubicle, you know, with the fluorescent lights. one of my goals with this radio show is to get a lamp in every fluorescently lit room on this university.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I hate fluorescent
Why am I looking at a
lighting.
screen with fluorescent overhead light? Turn that freaking light off and turn on the
You know how
lamp,
Kansas
please.
City is known for all their fountains?
City
Yeah.
fountains,
That was
city
a
artists.
It was like a big city beautiful bill. I learned about it in like a city planning course. I don't know when it was, but someone was like, we need to make the city more beautiful.
We're the heart of America. This is one of the most American cities, actually, without influences that the coasts get from, you know,
Really?
the eastern and western.
Yeah, I in Kansas City's is like it does have a aesthetic identity. I think because of that like build, like it was like a sort of it's built in like the Spanish style.
Yeah.
Well, the plaza
Oh,
area
like
is.
the plaza.
I
Yeah.
love that, the way it looks.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
like,
very.
The first mall built in this nation that was built for cars, based on when it was built, it was about the time that families started owning personal vehicles. So they knew people would be driving into the mall, so they built that with carports and stuff. It was the first one built in the U.S.
That might be nice, but since we're talking about urban planning, we're going to bring up the guy who did that, and I can't remember his name. Is it
J.C. Nichols, I believe.
J.C. Nichols? There you go. And so the reason that his, well, I mean, we may like those things about it, but he has plenty of other things that were likable and copied in every other city. And he introduced redlining. We know that, right?
What is
That redlining was saying, hey, within these red lines, only whites.
Oh yeah.
No
yeah.
Jews and no blacks. And that's why today, 60 years after, you know, civil rights started to come in, we still have a pretty clear racial line. I mean, if you live east of Troost,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
you're in the black neighborhood.
Mm.
And part of it, it's kind of interesting. You were talking about the beauty of the neighborhood. I like the west side of my neighborhood, and I don't like the east side. It's not as pretty.
Yeah.
And that's because of this intentional, you know, segregation and keeping the money within a certain community
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
and the resources.
Yeah, I learned about that in my sociology class. How they used what do they call them? What were those contracts that they would get? They would. Do you know the name of those contracts?
I'm not sure, but I know that you're talking about the fact that basically you wouldn't get loans. You would
Yeah,
get
I know
money,
you couldn't
know?
get loans. Well, you
Or
could
you
only
wouldn't
get
get
loans
mortgage.
to live in a specific area.
Right.
And they would, yeah. Mm. That sucks. Yeah.
You can't stop someone from living in. I don't know that they were stopping people from living there. They were making it not possible for them to buy houses there.
Even beyond the civil rights movement, they would still do it. They would.
They still do,
Yeah, it still happens.
arguably.
I think now there's more joint community intervention and attention being spent to connect the divide in those areas and create more shared spaces that historically were segregated, because it is such a beautiful area. But they have the MLK Park now at the end of that district. They've renamed one of the main roads Emmanuel J. Cleaver, which was an important man of color in the city, to
Yeah.
start integrating where the segregation separated.
It's all good. I'm just saying that east of Truce, it still
Yeah,
has
they have his little
statistically that
hanging out there,
95%. What was that?
He had to have his little. We were talking about J.C. Nichols. We had to take him down a little bit here.
Oh yeah. Well, we may have taken him down a little bit, but the facts of the residuals of what he did is still going on for a long time.
Anytime you build something, it does. So if you build it
Yeah.
ugly, the residual will be
That's
additionally
true.
not beautiful.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, like, I just think. Also, we need more like. No, you good. We need more, just like I don't know, but also I love urban spaces too, like places that are just completely like concreted out, like Chicago and New York City, and yeah, I don't know. I go back and forth between wanting things to be like a Greek dream or something, like, and then also I also love like the industrial city vibe. Also paintings.
So, what's your
Rococo.
show?
My show is just about beautiful things that I think are beautiful.
In discussing, are you juxtaposing it to the ugly, or was all that ugly just about like, that's why it's so important that beauty is important?
This is just pure over the top. This is fucking beautiful.
You
Look how
want to
beautiful
look
this
at
is.
beautiful stuff.
Don't you think this is vintage Vogue covers? Biltmore Mansion, trees,
Would you say that you're talking about
Italian
visual experiences?
people. Huh?
Would you say you're talking about visual experiences?
No, also just like things that I just enjoy, like, I guess visual experiences, art and buildings and stuff, It's very vague. I came up with it in like 3 minutes, but it is very important.
Well, a lot of things you said sounded visual, but did you say Italian people? That would be not so much visual, unless you're literally talking about the way they look.
Like
you
my
know?
grandma.
Yeah.
My
Culture.
grandma,
You know, that's not a
culture,
visual thing.
They have a beautiful
necessarily.
culture. Well, aspects of it are beautiful. Some aspects of it are really
Yeah.
fucked up. But that's everything.
That's everything. Yeah.
But yeah. So that's my show. Not developed entirely yet, but
Well, I would say if something is so visually beautiful and it does have a somatic impact.
it's important. It's important to have, you know? Like, I think we understate the importance of, like, that, because it seems so surface level, and it is surface level, but, like, it's also very, very not. It can be very important.
In the chakra system that comes from India is allegedly in the body. Beauty sits in the crown chakra, which is the purple chakra at the top of the head that represents your nervous system and the brain, neurology.
The
And
purple one was the third eye, and the pink one was the crown.
There's a little bit of
Right.
variation over what
Yeah,
colors go where,
indigo.
but the important part is the chakras are there.
and the color spectrum, I think all animals perceive light spectrum a little differently, and even human to human, we perceive shades a little differently. But I'll definitely concede that there's a variety of
Who says what
spectrum
colors?
right here.
Yeah.
Um, so beauty lives in the crown, so
But
it's a
beauty's-
very
yeah.
royal endeavor to make things beautiful. And maybe when we had more of like a magistrative government or had kings and queens and monarchies, beauty was maybe more prioritized.
Yeah, that was another thing I talk about with my siblings a lot, because we always hate on, like, and we do, and I currently do, just, like, hate the billionaire class, like,
Yeah.
people who have.
Modern
I don't
kings.
think that billionaires should exist.
Oh, yeah, well, and, like, I'm like, oh, God, we have, like, okay, so, like, throughout time, there's always been, like, a class of people who've had, like, way too much goddamn money, but, like, at least back then, they built, like, cool stuff. Like, these guys are so lame. Like, we have the lamest rich people in history. Like, they're
Yeah.
so fucking boring and lame. Like, oh my God, they just, like, love computers or whatever. Like, I don't know. They don't build anything cool. They don't build beautiful parks or, like,
They
They
don't even
don't-
do that much with the computers. There's so
They-
much more that they could get creative
there's
with.
so much, yeah. And they don't invest in art at all. This country hates art. It just sucks. Yeah. I don't know.
Well, Mo mentioned beauty. I mean, that's kind of what we've been talking about, and I really just want to mention that I'm also a fan of the Indian system, and I have been in philosophy of love this semester where we're discussing what is love, and one
Yeah.
early Greek theory
Class.
is,
Sorry.
yeah, it is a philosophy course. What is love? And the first view probably is it's union, right? That's what Aristophanes says. But Plato and his teacher Diotima say love, not quite union. What it is the desire for beauty. And so beauty at the lowest form, you can see it in a body. But then you realize that all bodies are beautiful or worthy of love in that sense. So then you start to love the soul. And then you realize all souls are beautiful. So then you start to love the laws and customs of beauty. And so that gets a little bit more vague about what that means, right? But then she says you could love even more than laws and customs. It's to love a discipline, like to love your art, your passion. And then the final thing is, and she says this is a form of knowledge that can only be, they were talking about the mystery cults. They were a mystery cult. She's saying that these mysteries are only internally, you can't really explain them. But she says the final thing is beauty itself. So love is to know beauty itself. And I always think that that's so related to the yoga system, is basically that you're traveling up your chakra system from your most basic experiences and into the full point of being here, which is to see that beauty at its most fundamental level.
And through love with the union and connected to yoga, if you connect intimately
Yeah, and
with
yoga
your
means
partner,
union, of course.
you start at your root, your base together, each person's root, and then you can travel up the spine together to hopefully achieve all the way to the top, which is the
Yeah.
most beautiful experience you could possibly have in your body and the most unexplainable one.
Does that come from like Hinduism or Buddhism?
What she's discussing there is yoga and Hinduism. Yoga is Hinduism. Yoga is
sex, baby.
well. You're speaking about you're talking about tantric sex, and in tantra is basically anytime that you use any technology for the case of union. So sex is a type of technology. You're using it methodically for union. You can all, but it's also tantra. I have my prayer beads here. This is a form of tantra as well, because I'm using an intentional piece. I'm not just doing hatha yoga, which is, where you're working on the energies within you, or prana yoga, where you're working on the energy of breathing. No, this is an actual physical thing, or a method, outside of my body. That's what makes it tantra. So tantra makes the other person your vessel, or the other thing. In this case, I'm using prayer beads, and most talking about sex. And in all those forms, ideally, you can go up the kundalini from your root chakra to blissing out at the top, whatever that really means. But that's what Diotima is talking about 1,000, 2,000 miles away, 1,000 years later. In Greece, she's saying there's a secret that only you can really find out by yourself, that is beauty itself. And the union with that beauty, that's what love is. Yeah. She doesn't call it union anymore, but she says that love is wanting something that it doesn't have, and that thing is beauty. And so wherever you are on the spectrum, on this kundalini rising, is where you seek the beauty. So at the lowest form in your red chakra, you're like, I seek beauty in other bodies. And in your middle form and your solar plexus, you're like, I see beauty in me achieving my goals in business, or as a family man. And then further at the speaking, where your chakra is creative, that's where you start to see beauty as being an artist, or a passion. And then I don't know, but it all seems very related. And yeah, the question that you asked, Morgan, is this Indian stuff? Well, I think that it's indigenous to all of us, so we all talk about it in different ways.
Yeah. Wow.
What do you think about that, Morgan?
I was actually thinking on a related topic. I've
Cool.
looked into chakras a little bit. I think that the way you described it's pretty accurate. There's definitely a lot to it. It's kind of a basic system that you can relate a lot of things to. It's kind of just a human-centric system.
Mm-hmm.
But a topic I was thinking that's related to this is meditation is one of the most basic solitary ways that you can explore this topic. And the Greeks actually made up brain rot before it exists now, 2,000 years ago. There was actually a practice philosophers did where they went into a cave and they just sat there for 48 hours. It wasn't like meditation, it was actually the opposite of meditation, where it was intentional rumination. And it's a lot easier to do that now because that's what we're surrounded by. We have computers now, we have access to infinite information, but back then they didn't, right? So this would be more against the grain and possibly more in the direction of gaining knowledge quicker. But basically they were trying to achieve some sort of divine connection by ruminating in a cave for 48 hours, and they all got together and did that. And I thought that was just so gritty and weird. But
Well, tell me we're not all just ruminating in a cave.
That's what we're
together
doing
right
now.
now.
To some extent, it's one way to do it.
It's always ruminating.
So what you're discussing sounded a lot like what the mystery cults were doing in that final stage of trying to find whatever beauty is. And I would say that I've taken a look at Hinduism and Buddhism, and what you're referring to as meditation is the Buddhist meditation, which is
the word. It was incubation. That's what they were doing.
Incubation. Well, so the Buddhists have just one real form of meditation, and then the Hindus kind of have two. And so the one that the Buddhists have that the Hindus also have is mindfulness, which is trying to not focus on anything in particular and just allow whatever is coming without judging it, without reacting to it. But there is samadhi, which is concentration meditation, where you focus on the one thing instead of the rest of it. So you are still trying not to react, and you're still ultimately trying not to become responsive to everything else that's happening. But in that one form, you're focusing on, I am loving awareness, or whatever your koan or mantra is, or perhaps you have a question that you're trying to solve. And I think that that's kind of similar. It sounds like concentration meditation, what they were doing. An unanswerable question is a great way to start your samadhi practice.
I have a topic that I think could tie so many of these things together. And this is a little bit of UMKCT. This is a little bit of love. This is a little bit of potential serial killing. We will find out. This is a unfinished story that I hope to update you guys on. On my first day of class, I saw a very beautiful blonde woman walking on this campus. Tanned, gold jewelry, genuinely shining in the light. Very attractive. And I saw a very cute guy as well, about 20 feet behind her, clocking the fuck out of her. I was like, that dude is interested in her. They were walking back to their car. Several weeks later, we're on our 6th week of school now, so this is probably last week, I saw her walking again. She's the same beautiful woman, blonde, tan, gold jewelry. And only about 5 feet behind her this time, I saw the very same cute guy. And I was like, he's getting closer. He has a goal. He will connect with this woman one way or another, and they could be a good-looking couple together. But we have no clue how this is going to end up yet. But I saw the tension on the first day, and I'm happy to see that it still exists. I've not seen them make eye contact yet. I hope I do one day so I can get a little bit more speculation to bring back to you guys. And maybe next time they'll be holding hands. Maybe next time he'll be alone and we'll be looking for her. So.
Wow.
We should give them names.
Yeah, what's their names?
Let's give it Julie and Joe.
Julie and Joe. Shout out to Julie and Joe. I hope they work out.
What if they're listening?
What if they are listening?
I hope you're... Julie, he's pretty cute. Joe, send her a pencil or something, bro. Like,
Yeah.
buy her a pack of gum.
Or he's a potential serial killer.
Yeah.
Or he's a
I
murderer.
could cover him next week.
Yeah.
Or he's the older brother, worried about his sister, walking in front of him,
No,
who
they
doesn't
are
want to be
not
seen with
of the
him,
Same family, definitely not.
adopted.
Okay.
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm the oldest of 6, and I've never seen. I don't think there's a race, but
This is something that,
it's pure speculation. You're right. Anything
Yeah.
could be true.
Oh,
What's everyone's
definitely.
birth order?
Huh?
What's everyone's birth order?
birth order,
You're the oldest.
Can we guess?
it doesn't matter.
Just kidding. Cam, only child.
The thing is that this is just one incarnation. So how do you know where you are in the universe in order anyway?
I'm just talking about like with your siblings though, like
Yeah. I was the first child.
your first kid.
I thought you were saying birth order as in who's old. I thought that was just a weird way of
No,
asking
no,
how
no,
who's the oldest
sorry.
here.
Oh, it's siblings. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, see? I'm not the only person who
Yeah,
didn't
I thought he was
know.
like his oldest.
I guess I am. You're an only child, aren't you?
I am the baby
Oh, even worse.
of the family.
That's the best one.
Yeah, the lucky one.
I heard the oldest
You
child
too?
has a victim complex, and the
Yeah, I
youngest
have
child
I have a
has-
victim complex. My sister has everything that I never had.
Yeah, I'm the oldest. I got that victim.
Totally
Me
different.
too.
We're very
I'm
similar in that.
Fascinated by
I'm sure.
oldest. Are you?
But the youngest
We're
has
we're both the oldest, yeah.
weaponized incompetence.
You know,
That's what I heard.
I think parents
Oh, that's funny.
kind of are more strict on the oldest one.
Duh,
and then,
duh.
And then they kind of stop giving a shit
No
about
shit.
the older one.
And they also
That'd be
learn
the most.
much better how to be compassionate. And they're just like, let's see, I did this before this way. And I'm like, oh my God, I would never do that to this child. Because
Right.
they're just aware of how bad that turned out. They're like, I wouldn't do that to this child. I learned from it. And
Luckily,
the
as a
truth
result,
is
I
that they
have
have
received
learned from it.
reparations from my parents.
Oh, yeah.
They have given reparations. Just
Well,
emotionally,
maybe,
it's
but
started from
yeah, I
my
think I've been
house.
getting there too. That yeah, my parents have started to say, look, we were younger and different, you know. But there will be some things that will never change. My sister is very smart, so I don't think that weaponized incompetence is the right case for this 20-year-old really smart person. I know, no, it's true for so many people, but in this case, for her, instead of it being that she doesn't have any incompetence to weaponize, you know what I mean? What it is that she doesn't really believe that I had it so bad. She's like, they bought you cars, and I'm like, no, they sold me cars. They, you know, but it's like she can't imagine how, like, my car now is not as good as her car now, right? You know what I mean? So she has it better now than I do 10 years later. I can't help but a little bit resentful there.
Doesn't it say in the Bible, isn't there a parable about like the worker in the field and then the
Yeah.
owner hires more workers at the same day rate? And
Right,
original
the
worker
guy
is
gets
like,
hired at the
"Why-
very end."
Yeah, you can't pay me more. And they're like, no.
No, I told you agreed to work for the same pay, but the thing is, and is similar in that we all get God's mercy, but it's not similar in that, you know, my parents owe me or my. They don't owe me anything. I just wish that it would have been the best that they could have done, and apparently it wasn't. You know.
Morgan, I like your shoes.
Thank you. They're Donald Glover. They're from Atlanta. The
Oh,
first
great.
season.
Those are sick.
Sneakerhead.
I like those.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Donald Glover, if you want to be on our radio show, hit us up.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, we should have guests.
You guys want to have
I'm
my
down for
coworkers
guests.
on? My coworker, Taylor,
I mean, it's a very good
or Autumn.
content creation. Just get more people and talk to them. Yeah, that's a great way to do it.
Yeah. I mean, I would interview my grandma, but
That's cool. That would be.
Yeah. Oh, I wanted to do a little bit of like a call your mom type vibe
Do a
where we
seance.
call them up. Oh, yeah, I can't maybe able
Well,
to
you can call.
produce that.
Well, I don't
We
think
We do
that.
seances.
I don't think
I
that.
perform seance. You know how to do
Yeah,
that?
seance doesn't fit into my mythology.
Oh.
You know what I mean? What I believe that ghosts are people that need help getting. Well, Buddhism says that ghosts are people that were attached to something when they died, and so they're stuck to it. So I think of ghosts more as like a mental state that we have to deal with. We get attached to things. We're overcome by ghosts, but I don't think that you can. I don't personally have any interest in talking to dead people. I want to celebrate them. They're here now. They're here now. I don't think of that as that doesn't make you a ghost. Jesus is here now. It's not really a ghost, you know.
Spirits.
Exactly.
Yes,
That's
ghosts
true.
aren't
The
even
spirits,
scary.
but the thing is, I think that our spirits are already infinite. So they don't die when we die. You know, ghosts aren't scary. You're right. And I was never scared in the first place of that because I was always
Just
like,
people that died. I mean, maybe they were a bad person.
I just saw a study on genetic memory, and
Yeah.
it's kind of an interesting thing because it's not just like tendencies. Like we always knew that you could inherit certain tendencies. That's more studied, but there's a recent study. I can't really claim that this is confirmed, but it's definitely going in this direction. That you can actually remember basically past people's memories, and they're just like lodged in your subconscious.
Through DNA, like that type of like
yeah,
Yeah.
group. Yeah.
that's interesting because in reincarnation, it doesn't necessarily like you have your identity through your heritage. So like I wasn't my father, but I am, I still have his genetic memory. But then we also have like whoever you were perhaps in an earlier life.
Right, like even
Yeah.
if you cloned yourself and gave that clone all of your memories, it wouldn't necessarily be you.
That
That-
reminds me of like remote viewing. Have you guys heard of remote viewing?
To be able to see something without being there.
It's far away, whether it's in like a longitude
Yeah.
latitude or even another planet, but it's like remote viewing, but into your ancestry.
Hmm
I think I was a bird in a past life.
I believe that we've all
Cool.
been pretty much every single thing.
What you got? What kind of bird?
I'm not sure what type of bird I was, but I definitely think I was a bird. I love birds, and I think I was one last reincarnation.
There you go.
cycle.
See, I think we've all been all the things, but since you're feeling that way, it was like recent.
Recent.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
think.
You know what's interesting in regards to the whole reincarnation thing? I took a science class for gen ed, and it was environmental science, I think, and it was really fascinating to learn about the death cycle and the way in which the Earth uses everything
Yes.
that has always existed. And
So isn't
how-
that reincarnation?
Yeah. It's like
The
a
energy never stops.
whole- Right. Yeah. It's all like
Yeah.
when you die, if you get absorbed and broken down, and you technically have always existed in
Yeah.
some form or another, which is just so weird.
Have you heard of Sadhguru?
Never heard of that. It sounds like an anime.
He's a guru on YouTube. He's got a lot of interesting things to say. Some of it's good, some of it I don't care for. But one of his best thing is basically like, what is the carrot? When I eat the carrot, when does it stop being the carrot? When does it become me? What part of me stayed with the carrot whenever it left me?
I think that ties back to Zhu, who was an ancient Chinese philosopher, and Zhu had a dream where he was a butterfly, and this was like one of the first times that this philosophy was brought up, where it's like, is your dream reality or is reality? And so he dreamt he was a butterfly. He woke up and he wondered, is he really a butterfly dreaming that he's Zhu?
Yeah, right.
And then I saw a recent scientific advancement where they have literal stem cell brains that they've grown in a box, and they are running
What?
AI
Yeah.
LLMs
Yeah.
on human brains, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And they ran a simulation of a butterfly, and so the human brain thought that it was a butterfly. Maybe Zhu was dreaming of the real event of himself being a human brain in a box as a butterfly.
I mean, even the
And
rocks.
that was reincarnated as Shuang Shu.
Even
Yeah.
rocks.
Rocks
are-
might have some consciousness.
Well,
So the Buddhism doesn't maintain that.
the rocks are on a cycle too. Like when I
Oh, yeah,
that
see, that's a good
they're
point.
Going down into the earth and melting, and then it's just crazy when I took those 2 science classes to learn how
Yeah.
the earth is basically one gigantic organism with all these crazy.
I love
moving parts
biology.
and just all this, and it's just like, it's just like this is the one planet that we know that has this thing on it. Every other planet is just. Well, that's the other thing is
They're
that every
different.
other planet is like its own thing too, but like how everything is.
More
moving-
stable, like stationary.
Yeah, or like how everything there's like the cycle, everything there's like the rock cycle, the water cycle, and then when you extrapolate it even further out, there's like the cycle of the planets going in their circles, and then it's just like
It's patterns. I love to call it
Yeah.
patterns because that is like it's the same pattern in a different magnitude. It's the same pattern,
right.
Like when you
yeah.
look at crystals microscopically, or like you come and look at them at the full size, they look the same.
It's just like why.
Certain crystals do.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
But the patterns are there for that reason.
Fractal,
Yeah, exactly.
And how did it start? How did all of this start? Where did it? When will it end?
And where's the implication that it
You guys
started?
know, I think that we're a future different creature, that, the Earth is evolving into something that we don't even know what it is yet. There's the mystery around the Earth's core. I hypothesize that,
What's the mystery with the Earth's core? What's
what
that?
is it? What
It's-
would it be? I think
it's
it's
a-
like iron, like,
Oh, like what
they think
it's
like
made
a
of.
compression of just like heat and moltenness, but I'm like, what if we add all the Earth's trash into the core and it's like the missing ingredient to like move us into the next state of physicality?
I was thinking we should just turn Mars into a trash planet.
Yeah, that's
and
expensive,
build a
right?
Big
Let's ask the billionaires.
I'm pretty sure that's what the billionaires have said doing. Why don't we just send it to another country?
build big tube, a big old tube,
Yeah.
straight to Mars.
So the cost of that too,
Just
right, would be
launching
the
to
cost of
Mars.
everything ever, right?
Right, yeah, just throw trash out into space.
Yeah.
You can literally.
So the energy cost of getting something off of our gravity pool. That's why that doesn't happen. We know that, right? Like it's a good
Yeah.
theory, but like we don't have any possible way.
It's actually really scary too, because of that junk that they put in space could hit one of those satellites
There are
that Starlink has up there.
thousands of things up there that are just flying around. Yeah, there's like 70,000 objects that
All
we've thrown up there that are in like this 1 mile radius, like really close range.
Yep. All it would take is one chain reaction to just knock it all out.
And there's like no understanding about the law of who's responsible. If your satellite gets broken, that's your problem right now, as far as I understand it, at least. Well, I'm much less interested in what's underground than I am what's going on the surface, aren't you?
on the surface of.
The Earth, where we are.
Oh yeah, like the organisms and all the.
Well,
biological
us.
systems.
I'm really interested in the social, and that is just another part of the organism, right? Of course, like the fact that we have structure and that we.
I think the two intermingle a little bit in what's going on in Antarctica right now, in
What's
particular.
going on in Antarctica?
Oh, there's a lot going on in Antarctica.
Should we write a letter
You'd be
to
surprised.
Are you talking about the law?
Yeah, well, I mean, China and Russia have got a lot more involved. This is getting into politics. I don't really go too far into this.
I do.
But
Do it.
fair enough.
I know.
There's a Yucatan Peninsula where everyone is allowed to do some research and stuff, but we've all agreed not to drill for oil until 2050. And there's like 7 countries established on the peninsula, and we're only supposed to be there for scientific reasons. But go ahead, Murray.
But our scientific infrastructure is actually crumbling down there, and they're not receiving hardly any aid. Like the Nathaniel B. Palmer's crumbling down. I learned this in debate class that I started taking this semester, and it does seem like a pretty dire situation down there. And basically, the U.S. doesn't have much established in comparison to the growing infrastructure that China and Russia are putting down there. And it's like it doesn't really make sense from any perspective, whether the goal is environmental protection, expansionism even, like with the current administration. Maybe they don't care about the environment, but you would think they would at least care about establishing power in this unexplored region.
Well, I think that there's already a lot of questions about whether or not oil is being extracted or whether or not they're only doing scientific research, but there's certainly a fear that by 2050 that it's going to be a free-for-all over all this unclaimed land south of that peninsula, as well as that the peninsula is the easiest to work because it's just north enough that it's a little bit softer to get into. But there's possibly the largest store of fuel there, and that's a big deal. I mean, I wouldn't imagine why any president would
I think
care.
I'd be interested to see how the American public in general would respond to a modern power grab by America. I don't know if culturally,
Isn't that
socially,
interesting?
there's like a lot of support for that, although
He's
even if,
been building it up.
yeah, I think it would be good, but what I hear
I mean,
in my communities is that Americans that I know of might not be interested in seeing America do
So I don't
power
think-
grab move right now.
It wouldn't be good
Yeah.
to see Greenland taken by us. I don't think so. And that being said, I'd like to be able to get there on my passport, but I don't think that's good for America. You know, I think that's bad for our soft power.
I don't think it's a problem at that scale now, but it's an inevitable
You're gonna
problem
wanna
down
be
the.
there, but it's definitely, I agree. I grew up in
Yeah.
a military family, and my dad still is like a contractor, so it's not my true heart, but seeing that at play my entire life, I do think it would be interesting. And they still plan wars and do expect that a lot of the country will be owned by other countries in the
Mhm.
future as well. So Antarctica, we might want to be there if we can be.
Right. I mean, like, it's not a problem now, but once you start to see the sea level rising to the point of threatening cities, and that's the biggest chunk of land that's out there, and now all the ice is melted, then it's a whole different situation at that point.
Yeah. And what is underneath the ice, you know, like what kind of answers and interesting sciences.
That's where the underground part comes in.
And if the coasts are endangered in the future, people will move inland to our region, most likely, where we do have open landmass and the beginning of infrastructure. So I think what we can do is prepare our city for the future influx of citizens and non-citizens that will eventually have to come to this area.
You guys think they'll ever come up with a cancerless cigarette?
Isn't
That's a
that
non-question.
I
vague?
don't smoke cigarettes, but I would start if it was cancerless.
Same.
Virtual cigarettes.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I've done that. Yeah. The character smokes.
Give you technology cancer.
In a video game.
Yeah.
I just think
True.
aesthetically,
Arguably worse.
smoking is so cool.
That's because you grew up in America, where you've watched a lot. Look, we all think that. I think so too. And I read a lot of Tolkien and stuff too. Maybe that's why I like smoking, but probably it has to do with the millions of dollars a year that goes into making people like you and me think that smoking is cool.
And it worked. It totally
That's all I'm
worked.
saying. That's right.
Yeah.
It
Hey,
totally
so I
worked.
can
As our
agree with you.
resident beauty
It does
expert,
look
he says it
good.
looks good. It
Yeah,
looks
it says
good.
it looks good, bro.
I can agree that it looks
It's great.
good.
But I saw a game where they gave their cat
Oh,
a
yeah,
cigarette
cigars
and their
are
cat
good.
smoked. I mean, that's
You've seen a cat
Hilarious.
smoke?
yeah.
A
There's this
cat?
virtual reality game where they were able to give a cigarette to their cat, and then their cat gave it a puff.
You guys ever watched Mad Men?
Not bad.
John Hamm.
Yeah.
John Hamm smoking a cigarette. Everybody's smoking a cigarette in that show. January Jones smoking a cigarette with the gun. Oh, dude, you guys have to watch that show. It's a great show. Does anyone here like The Great Gatsby?
Haven't seen it, but I've heard it's beautiful.
Are you talking about the movie or the book?
The book. It's like one of my favorite books of all time.
Well, it's trash. It's trash.
You
But
think Great Gatsby is trash?
Someone I know
Oh.
said the film wasn't that good.
Oh, the film is terrible.
So,
the book, I love.
isn't it famously filled with plot holes? Like, why would they get into each other's cars? And why did they switch back into each other's cars? Only so that there would be that murder, so that, oh, we think it's her who did it. And I don't remember exactly the names, but you know, there's a couple of plot holes. Family Guy does a scene about it. Bye, Mom.
See you, Mom.
Yeah.
I don't
So,
know. It's a dope book. I like it. Just the vibes.
okay, see, that's what I was wondering if that's what you're saying. So then, like, maybe the movie would be
and
better.
the meaning of
The-
just that.
well, what's the
last
meaning?
Sentence,
What's the meaning?
The last sentence of
Tell us again.
boats against the current, borne back ceaselessly into the past. It's a great line.
Well, what's the point of the book?
I think the point of the book is more, it's kind of discussing the American idealism that there was, especially at that time. Like the
Yes.
idea that if you just strive hard enough, you can get it.
Is the point that that is a hollow ideal?
Sort of, but it's also kind of talking about how it's hollow, but also very, like, kind of beautiful. To
We
like,
still love it.
to desire and yearn for something better than what you have. where it's like super destructive, but also like kind of in its own way very like important. And if you don't have like at least that's how I always felt about it. Like the green light at the end of the of Daisy's dock, like.
Sounds thematically similar to Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah, sort of. They're kind of similar tales.
Wolf
Like
Wall Street is
I guess.
intentionally a Great Gatsby reboot kind of thing.
But yeah,
Oh, I didn't
I
realize
think
that.
I might be wrong.
that's why it's a good one.
Well, I think it's definitely true that there's a danger inherent in the beauty that we were earlier talking about, that beauty that we do naturally desire. And now we're talking about how that desire for whatever that thing is, it's not quite beauty, could be dangerous.
Yeah, I think it's a good book. F. Scott Fitzgerald's kind of a messed up guy. He had an interesting life. The 20s are an interesting time. Yeah.
Is that when it was written?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
It
Well,
was
I know
about,
that's
like,
when it's set. I don't know if it's.
it was
Is that what's
written in the 20s.
Mhm.
It was like what made him on screen this time. It's what like sort of brought him to. Well, actually, no, it was very unpopular when it came out. Nobody cared about it, but then other people were like, "This shit's actually cool," and it is cool. I love like 20s Paris. Have you guys ever seen like Midnight in Paris, the movie?
No. Are you a big movies person, you say?
I've seen like 20 movies in my life.
So no. Almost
No.
almost none.
20 movies in your entire
That's
life.
like
I
very
think so.
few.
I
Wait,
think
that's crazy.
That's
Yeah.
very few. Have you not been around TV in your life?
actually,
Yeah.
no.
Your family didn't allow you to watch TV?
Well, no, they did, but my dad was like, I hate commercials. We're getting rid of TV because he was a real early adopter of like the Netflix like streaming thing. He was like, fuck
How old were you when
commercials.
that happened?
God, like 10, 9?
Okay, so around 10 years old, you stopped watching commercial television. So did you watch a lot of shows?
No, I kind of just like, honestly, as a child, I disappeared into this game called like Elder Scrolls.
Yeah, I played a lot of other schools. Thousands of hours.
Disappeared into that game as a child, and I
You
was
play
just,
Skyrim?
Yeah, I played Skyrim as a kid. I haven't played video games in a minute. It's been a while.
I'm a big gamer. I play a lot of Dungeons and Dragons every week,
I've
every
always wanted
Monday.
to get into Dungeons and Dragons.
It's a religion, so you either do it every week or you don't have a group. You have to do it regularly.
I thought
You know
you
what I mean?
genuinely meant it's like an actual religion. Was
I
like,
mean,
whoa.
I was like, oh, it's deeper than I thought.
You have to be religious about it, though. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's what I mean. I mean, look, I got my spirituality over here. My religion, though, you know, that's
Yeah.
something you got to do every week. You know, if you don't show up to your group, then your group doesn't exist because people don't show up, or they'll replace you. So it's like one of those things. I've been with the same people for 7 years because that's how it is.
You look like a coworker I used to work
You know,
with.
speaking of, I love Stranger Things. That
Yeah,
You've been
that's
telling
one
me
of
to
the-
watch that show.
Ever since that came out, every time I say Dungeons and Dragons and someone says, "What's that?" I'm like, you know, in Stranger Things, that thing they're playing with the dice. Yeah, that game.
I heard that there's my coworker friend at work. I keep talking about my coworkers, but Autumn, she was talking about how she had a theory about Stranger Things.
I want to hear it.
Okay, so it was basically like one of the characters is a vampire.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's like,
This
I
is
think,
headcanon stuff.
so I don't even know anything about the show, but
It's
she's
just,
like, I think,
it's her headcanon. She's not.
yeah, I think it's her own personal thing. She's
Yeah.
like, one of the characters is a vampire.
Maybe.
I don't
Is
know.
that a D&D thing? Is there vampires in D&D?
Dungeons and Dragons has everything, all the stuff. So they
So it
do.
could be possible.
But I don't think
Okay.
that that's the relevant point. I think the point is that in her mind, that in that fantastical world of Stranger Things, there is this Demogorgon and stuff. That has nothing, even though the Demogorgon is a monster in Dungeons and Dragons, not everything in Dungeons and Dragons is real in the Stranger Things world. But the Demogorgon is, you know, so I don't know. Just we can agree that it's a fantasy world where fantasy stuff happens, so sure.
Do you like the show? Or
I never really watched it. It's came out after my time. I'm 30 now, so it's just a little bit later, and I haven't spent a lot of I only watch comedy. Is kind of one of my things. I only watch comedies, and I don't really like movies. So just shows.
You know, the show's been so tragic at this point.
Oh my God.
It's been so tragic that I really wouldn't mind if we got to the end of the last season and we found out that everything that happened was just a D&D game.
I would be so mad,
That would be
actually.
funny.
That's such a... No, I'd
So-
be so mad.
It would be possible, but really D&D games D&D games always take place in a fantasy world, like Swords and Shields and stuff. So there are games that are just like it, but you know, there's one that's called Starfinder and Pathfinder, and those ones might actually more resemble this modern life that you could be like playing as a role-playing game. But it's possible.
No way they're gonna. It was all a dream.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Nah.
It was all a game.
Yeah, I don't think so.
That'd
That's,
be disappointing.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
it would be
11 will
it would
die.
be cliche for sure.
But yeah, I've only seen like 20 movies, and one of them.
And you dare telling us what movie we should watch?
What movie?
Oh,
was
you
I-
should watch this movie.
What
You've only
movie-
seen 20 movies. What do you know we should watch?
What was I
What's your
telling?
favorite?
I don't know.
What was I talking about? What movie? How did I even get on this topic? What was I talking
Well,
about?
we were discussing
What?
Great Gatsby.
Great Gatsby.
And then you discussed another movie, Mad Men, and you
Oh, what's the
thought
show?
another movie with that
Wolf of
theme.
Wall Street. You've
Wolf
seen
of
good
Wall Street.
movies at least.
Okay. Oh, I actually want to talk about The Godfather and how I watched that movie and like I don't even know. I like it and everything, right? One day I just kind of realized like, dude, I don't know what the fuck even happens in that movie.
That's because
Like,
it's 10 hours of
I'm
blood
not
porn.
10 hours of what?
It's 10 hours of blood porn.
What
Just a
is-
bunch of,
Is
you know,
what's-
like there's not a lot of script.
A gangster movie. It's
it's
a trilogy.
cool vibe.
So you've heard of The Godfather, you have, and you know the famous idea of a Godfather, right? We probably all know of it because it was popular in 1979 or whenever it came out. That movie is one of the most famous masculine trilogies of all time. Who are the actors in it, or who wrote that?
Al Pacino,
Al Pacino.
and he's the main guy. And
So a lot of those
Brando.
guys, that was like their first like big. Oh, these guys are bad guys. Like we like them, you know. So, but it was three 3-hour movies of, you know, darkly lit scenes, and then every now and then, a bunch of people get shot at once.
Oh, I thought everyone loved it. But I've
Well,
heard the second one's better. Well, like every film bro.
I
loves
think
it.
that the first one's good, the second one's the worst, and the third one, or maybe it gets worse and worse. But I just know that there's a lot of action. It's very slow.
And it insists upon itself.
That's Family
Quote
Guy
Peter
for you,
Griffin.
And see, the reason he's saying that is because it's kind of like what we're hearing right now is that, you know, people who like it because they like it, and the whole thing is good because what they like, it's all about that. But if you don't really like whatever that thing is, then it's very slow. You know?
well, also I think
like you said, you don't even know what goes on in it.
Yeah, I don't know the plot. I
Slow.
don't know what's going on in that movie. I realized one day I was like, dude, I don't even know what's happening
It's
right
murder
now.
porn.
Like, but I will say my great grandma apparently used to watch that movie every single day, because of the Italian American culture, because she was Italian and like, basically the whole Italian American world like moved on basically because she was like 90 something, and so that just wasn't around anymore. That sort of culture that she grew up around, it was just gone. So she just watched obsessively Godfather 1 over and over and over again every day, and until she died, which I thought was really weird,
It was a comfort thing.
kind of creepy, kind of cool though.
Well, if we're on the topic of movies, I did want to talk about Donnie Darko and the Wizard of Oz. Have you
Oh.
guys seen Donnie Darko?
Yes, great film.
Okay, you've seen it.
I've never
You
seen
you have not
But
seen
I've
it.
seen Wizard of Oz, of course.
Oh yeah, I've seen
Right.
both these movies.
So this will be a little spoiler heavy, to warn the viewers. Do you mind if I
Go
spoil it?
ahead.
Okay. So the connection I made was basically, to sum it up, Donnie Darko is Oz in this parallel.
Yeah.
And Gretchen
Whoa.
Ross, the girl that he ultimately saves at the end of the movie through some crazy time mechanics, is the equivalent of Dorothy. And so I could throw in other movies, because there's a lot of Wizard of Oz lore, like there's Oz the Great and Powerful, and I could probably connect that because it's kind of a prequel to the Wizard of Oz. I couldn't really connect Wicked because it doesn't involve Dorothy whatsoever, and this kind of hinges around that theory. But it's like, it's basically just a thought experiment. It's not necessarily a likely theory. I thought it was fun
that's
though.
what I was going to ask you. So do you think that that's what the writers were going for?
No.
Or okay, because I don't remember Donnie Darko well enough to say prove or disprove, but I'm willing to hear the whole theory.
I think that it might imply a mindset of the writers, but
Yeah.
I don't know if it would I don't think it relates any specific ideas. But anyway, the idea is so Donnie Darko, the lore is kind of weird. It would be hard to spoil the movie, honestly, because the actual mechanics of the movie aren't made clear. And so, sort of the physics of what's going on is Donnie Darko dies, except his future self saves him, and so he has these powers, and he's able to stop the time loop from repeating and stop people who died in the time loop from dying. And that's what ultimately happens at the end of the movie. At the end of the movie, he accepts his fate, dies, and so the time loop just ends. But effectively, the reason that I compared Gretchen to Dorothy is because I'm trying to look through these notes. They're so chaotic. But she's basically being guided throughout this movie. The movie's Donnie-centric, so it's more like Oz the Great and Powerful in the sense that we're following the timeline of the wizard, whereas in The Wizard of Oz, obviously, it's all focused on Dorothy. And so in this case, we got the wizard, and he is like Oz, and his entire goal is actually to get Dorothy to the Emerald City and send her home. And that's what happens in Donnie Darko. He has to reverse the timeline where Gretchen Ross dies and send her back to the original timeline where she doesn't die and he does. And so Oz is a fake universe. That's the tangent universe, sort of like the tangent universe that most of the movie Donnie Darko takes place in. And so he, as the wizard, has to orchestrate events, or you might say that Frank, his like subconscious demon or whatever it is, they don't really get, it's kind of, the lore is really obscure, which allows for a theory like this, but he effectively has to be the man behind the curtain that orchestrates the whole situation to where Gretchen doesn't die. He does, and then the world goes on as normal. And that's how you get the ending of Donnie Darko. They both end with just a regular world, no one has superpowers, and everyone's alive. And you could say that, like in The Wizard of Oz, Oz wasn't a real place at the end of the movie, even though we saw all the characters, like the wizard was a mystic of some sort, and the Wicked Witch was a neighbor. And you could say that at the end, the wizard died. That's a summed up version. I have 9 pages of notes, so it really is like summed up compared to the ideas I had.
You could definitely do a monologue just recording that whole thesis. I think that, and you might have it in your 9 pages, the strength that you're looking for to finish up the thesis that you're giving is you gotta find something to point to within both movies that are similar. So you should be able to point to Frank and say, see, he's like, because, and so, you know, I just would like to see a little bit more mirroring or like side-by-side comparison so that I could clearly see, oh, okay, I haven't, you know, especially someone who hasn't seen those movies should be able to still be able to, oh, okay, it sounds like in this movie there's a character that does this, and in this movie the character does this, and he says those are related.
Right. I would have to do a whole condensing of that. I really should have done that before. I wanted to. I was hoping I would get here earlier than I did, but I had a lot of technical problems.
I just learned it. That's called the point to it test.
Yep. But in regards to that specific issue, I could point to specific characters.
Yeah.
I would say that
Evidence
Frank
is what it is.
Frank would be like the Wizard of Oz, inside of Oz. And Donnie would be the mystic that shows up to Dorothy at the beginning of the movie. And so she's transported to this tangent universe, and the plane, the equivalent of the plane, would be the house that gets sucked up in a tornado. In The Wizard of Oz, the house gets sucked up in a tornado, but at the end of the movie, the house didn't get sucked up. There was no tornado. And so effectively, the wizard, what he did was he undid the tornado. He undid a real-life event through this fantasy world that shouldn't have existed. Some sort of mechanic.
Yeah, but you know, another interpretation of Wizard of Oz is that the tornado didn't happen, that was the beginning of the alternate world.
Yeah. And if you go along that route, you could make a
sure.
similar argument for Donnie Darko, that there was no plane, that Donnie just got hit by it, and none of it actually happened.
So then what's really happening in both movies is that the character is suffering mental illness, basically. Donnie is psychotic or schizophrenic, and what's her name? Dorothy is in a coma, and they're both experiencing hallucinations. So that's what I see the comparison.
Yeah, and I feel like that's the
Emma,
I was just like, I wonder if it's Wizard of Oz first or Alice in Wonderland, because they seem kind of similar.
Maybe Wizard
Maybe.
of Oz is a little bit different.
I mean, either one you could take, at the end of the day, you can either take it at a physical, realistic view, like if you take it from a mental illness perspective, that's the realistic view. Or you could take it from a fantastical view, which is valid since it's a fictional world.
I don't think that the mental illness perspective is accurate for Alice in Wonderland, because the point is not that she's sick. The point is that she's a child and she's bored.
Yeah, I actually heard a theory that what it's mainly trying to explore is the life of a girl being raised in British or wherever it was, aristocracy.
I mean,
Oh, the Queen of Hearts.
Yeah.
I can
And it's
see
like that would be the setting of society that she's trying to navigate as a young child at that time.
well, I understand that he was, looking out a window, and that Lewis Carroll was working outside of a church. I guess he was able to see a churchyard, and he often saw this young girl playing there. So that was part of it. I think that he's really just working on the muse of what is a child thinking of whenever they see these things coming through their life. So he may have seen, some aristocrat walking by her and seen her look of puzzlement and said, "This is probably what makes
She
sense."
reminds me of Dorothy, though. I feel like she went through the same journey, like falling into the rabbit hole,
Mhm.
coming back out. It wasn't real.
They're lost. I have to go home.
Wonderland before.
Well, in Alice in Wonderland, she's also like, I'm supposed to be home, but this is all her amusement that she's doing this.
It's also worth mentioning that in Donnie Darko, if you look on the Donnie Darko wiki,
Yeah.
and you go to Gretchen Ross's page, and she's like the second to the main character, really. She's kind of the motivation for
important
all
part
of
of it.
Donnie's actions, yeah. Kind of like an anti-refrigerated woman, because she doesn't die, neither in the beginning of the movie or the end.
Well, what is a refrigerated woman? Is that a concept within film?
That is, it's pretty basic. I think in one of the early
Well,
films
he's
there
the
was a
guy, so-
woman that died, and she was, I don't know, in a fridge for some reason. The point of it is a woman dies at the beginning of the movie to motivate a male character to do the rest. In Donnie Darko, that's not really what happens, because she doesn't die at the beginning of the movie, and she doesn't die at the end. But it is his whole motivation, which plays into the time loop aspect of it. Anyway, on the Donnie Darko wiki, I'm
Wiki.
messing up my words. The only thing that it says about her character is that is not her name, which is super cryptic. Like, it's saying that Gretchen Ross is not that character's name.
That's interesting.
And in the movie, there's nothing that would inform that.
Well,
That would give you that idea to say.
yeah,
that's
and this is, I didn't want to bring this up because this is a personal weird thing, but I thought that I remembered her name being something else.
Mandela effect.
Yeah, Mandela effect, except the Donnie Darko wiki supports it, which is weird. And I looked at the screenplay too. I didn't see a different name in there either. Control F that.
Well, my first thought is somebody's playing around just a little bit. Like, a Donnie Darko fan is inspired to write a little bit of fanfic and bend the rules. I mean, it's Wikipedia. It's not the most authoritative.
I mean, it's the fan base of the show that's running it, so.
Exactly, but they're the ones who have license, if anybody does, to be creative.
True.
This is our show right now, right? We're recording because why not? And will this be online later?
It will be.
Where would I be able to find this?
I'm going to put it on a YouTube.
Just 'cause of my beginning.
I'm going to make a YouTube channel with the pre-existing KROO Radio account.
Great.
I'm also considering, like, we have KROO on the mics. We can continue to be called KROO on a campus level. But I was considering just calling our show publicly Midwest College Radio Show.
Yeah. Well, are you talking about the show, or are you talking about our
Like
station?
that's I'm
Station
saying
should be called that?
I'm saying the group and the station officially within a
KROO.
local vicinity we should be called KROO.
Yeah.
But on the online channels that we're posting this to, I think it would be
We're the Midwest College Radio Show.
like the most basic name possible.
And is
Because
that supposed to include our many shows that we're potentially going to have? Or we'll get there when we get there?
we could get there when we get there. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
if I'd really prefer not to just make a separate channel for
No.
every single one of our shows.
Yeah, that's not what I would want. The channel could be called whatever.
Mhm.
If you want to call the YouTube channel KROO, or if you want to call it Midwest Radio Show, that's fine. But the shows themselves will have obviously some sort of news channel.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
Maybe I should do Midwest Cold Cases, because that's what I did at first.
Mhm.
And then I changed
Yeah.
it to KC.
KC is such a good brand name that I throw it on everything. I play like Hare Krishna Kirtan music, and I had the inspiration to make it into a band. It's not really there yet, but we're called KC Kirtan, because why not?
Whose cello is just hanging out there?
Well, it's actually a cello case, but I brought a guitar in it.
Oh, what type of guitar you got in
I got a Martin.
there? Hey.
Are you playing that for this today?
I planned on playing it, but I also planned on introducing with it, but that
Okay.
was supposed to be if we had extra time. I was hoping to record it before anyone got here, actually. I want to make it me-centric.
No, I don't think you have to
Very
worry about
nice.
that. We're trying to create content, so
Yeah.
just do you.
Let me see.
You know? So how about you and me next week? How prepared? I'll give you a song that I'll learn the words, and you play the guitar.
I have the song prepared on my end.
Okay.
If you want to learn The Underdog by Spoon,
Send me the text just to remind me that and I'll get it.
Are you guys in a band together?
We are now.
I guess so. I
We
guess
did
we're all in the
discuss that
band,
a few weeks ago.
technically.
We said that we would possibly do some, because he wants to do covers. That's one of the things that he would like to do.
Can either of you sing?
I'm a singer. Yeah.
Hey.
I'll sing now. But we'll have to sing together later. You don't have to sing, yes. Okay, I sing like religious music a lot, so I'll just give you a few seconds of this Hindu music. Shri Guru Charana Saroja Raja Nijamana Mukuru Surahari Barana Raghuvara Bimala Jasu Jodaya Kupalachari Putihina Tanujani Ke Sumyam Pavana Kumasiaram Balaburi Vidya Dehumohi Harukale Shavika Siyahara Ramachandra Paraje Sharanam. So that's just the first few seconds of the Hanuman Chalisa, which is a song of 40 verses about Hanuman, the monkey god, who I will discuss in another episode of our show.
Okay.
That's
Great.
Was that Wukong?
I had no idea that was even a thing. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, well, we've
Wow.
all got different traditions, so many religious traditions to explore, and I find that very interesting.
Wow. Yeah. That's cool.
That's
But I do-
Wukong, right?
Huh?
That's Wukong, right?
What?
That monkey god, monkey king.
Wukong. Oh, you're right. You're correct to say it's wrong. Wukong. He's called the Monkey King in Wukong in China, but in China he's more like a demon. And originally he's like the Indian mythology made it to China, and by the time it made it to China, they had a different idea of what he was. So
True.
he's more like mischievous because he can't control himself. But in this form, and in the Indian form, he's mischievous, and the whole point is that even a monkey could do God's work, could be faithful and righteous.
Yeah. Well, I don't know who came up with the Monkey King invading heaven and confronting Buddha
That's the
story.
Chinese explanation. Yeah.
I saw
So
that
the
in
Buddhist-
the Nelson Atkins. I saw a story
Yeah.
about
Yeah. yeah.
monkeys getting together and going on a great adventure.
The Journey to the West.
Was that it?
Something.
I mean,
So-
it definitely acknowledges
Yeah,
a
so
high level
that's-
of power.
Those are all similar things. Yeah. So then the Journey to the East, that's the Monkey King, because he's a demon and he's trapped, and he's been trapped by Buddha in a mountain, and it's not until he becomes a Buddha himself can he get out of the mountain and stuff like that. But in the earlier form, he's more of a devotional. He's seen as God's divine servant, there's a whole story called the Ramayana, which is a story of a Hindu king who's the greatest king of all, God in king form. And all the cities were beautiful, the way that you would like them to be.
Yeah.
And everything was intentionally both sacred and functional. And he has a great story where his wife gets kidnapped, and Hanuman helps, the Monkey King helps by jumping across the ocean 100 leagues and finding her. And then instead of saving her, he goes back and tells God because he doesn't want to take God's honor. It's a very interesting story. But Morgan, I don't mean to take your fire. Go ahead. Let's go back to where you were at.
Do you mean with the movie or
Music.
I think
we were talking about music and I
oh.
just sang, and then now we started talking about my thing.
No, that was awesome. I like what you had to add there. We could try to improvise it today, but I don't know. It might be better if you listen to it and
Yes.
gave it a week.
That's what we'll do.
Okay. But yeah. You know, I could do a harmonica cover though.
Oh shit.
It would only take a minute.
That's a cool.
Okay.
Have you guys heard of Jesse Wells? It's really cool.
He is
Playing guitar, singing. You know him?
Yep.
So you and I do have some similar algorithms on the feed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of him. I've done my band is doing some covers. We're doing horses. I love horses. He does a lot of like action stuff. He's doing this folksy stuff. Jesse Wells. One of his songs that was really popular came out right after the guy from United Health was shot. And it was basically just talking about how our healthcare system is flawed, and he's making some great political points that are also not just reflexive, but like, hey, I don't know what to say. I do feel this way and that way, and I'm not sure what the answer is, but this can't be right. So, yeah, I definitely encourage, and hopefully we'll get to listen to and sing some of his music another day.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I listen to his music, but I have never tried to learn his songs.
Easy music.
And yeah, I
Great
think
song.
it's just chords,
Yeah.
basic enough to learn. But yeah, he seems really real. I like that about him.
Yeah. He's getting a lot of flack lately because about a month ago, he was on the Joe Rogan podcast.
Oh.
And even though he was acting of himself and reasonable, just because the fact that he was on that podcast does seem like, hey, maybe he's placating to the conservatives or entertaining them too much. And we have a problem on the left. I can speak as a person from the left. It's been defined as cannibalistic rabidness. We're too quick to rip up our own kind and say, oh, he's not a real liberal or whatever it is because he went on Joe Rogan, and we have to be careful not to commit what's called the genetic fallacy, which is one thing they did or said doesn't work for me, so throw them out.
Yeah,
That's a nice harp you got there. What brand is it?
It is an East Top. It was the
Fancy.
cheapest one of this size I could find
It's
on
bigger
Amazon.
than anyone. I never had one like that. Is it?
It is a nice one. It is the nice. I guess it's the cheapest nice one that you could get
How long have you been playing the
because
harmonica?
about kind of like a year.
Oh,
I played it on my work breaks
Is it hard?
That's so
during my gap year.
No, harmonica's fun. Too easy. It's hard to get the, but it's not hard to toot on. It's kind of like
It's fun.
organic, like singing.
Yeah.
I've had
And then
some.
just sing into it.
You have to take care of them. And you have to have several of them.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to sing into it because I'm thinking.
Well, give us a harmonica tune. Let's go.
All right, let's
lick.
give it a shot. Well, the song is "Man Who Sold the World," and it's the Kurt Cobain version.
Oh, love that version. Good version.
Pain never lost control. Your face to face with the man who sold the world. Fuck yes. Hope you don't mind. I had to sing something. Thank you.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't.
I love that version of the
Yeah, I'm
song.
glad you
It's
chimed
really
in.
good.
That was cool.
I'm glad I didn't come in the beginning because I want to give you space to do your timing. You know,
Yeah, I gave
Wow.
it sort of an intro.
that's a good song.
Nirvana Unplugged is great. Has anyone else?
Yeah, of course.
It's fucking
Nirvana Unplugged. Yeah.
beautiful concert.
Good time.
Great.